Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Factory in the Sky 4 on the FTOG server. A bit of a weird start angle today because I've done a lot of work, and it will become immediately obvious what I've done as soon as I turn around. So let's bring our GUI back, and then... oh, this. So, yeah, our storage system is gone. Our power station is gone, and in its place is this actually additions empowerer setup. And you'll also notice I have this hyperbox here. This is the Factory Mobile Unit. For those of you who've been around a bit now, you'll remember in FTB Evolution, the last series I did, linked in the end card, I had that idea to contain mods within the those holding bags, the yurts, so they wouldn't tick when I don't need them. And it occurred to me a little while back that I can just use the hyperboxes to do a similar thing, but better, because I don't have to target it and I can put any pipes in there. So without further ado, let's go into our first hyperbox, which is the Factory Mobile Unit, where I put our storage and power and a couple other things. So let's head in. Go up there. This here is our storage system. You'll see we've got our pattern grid, our autocrafter manager, and a new autocrafting monitor, which will show me existing tasks so I can cancel them if they're weird. I have external storage connecting water buckets and lava buckets. The annoying part is, though, all the buckets I put in the system automatically go in here, so I'm going to have to think of a solution for that. But you'll also notice a lot of infrastructure. This is our power. It's right here. In this little box, we got 3 thermogenerators, a energizing orb placed right there, our flux networks, but the big draw is this. So we've got 2 controllers for power reasons. One of them is fluctuating, crafting grid, disk drive with both our disks. But these autocrafters, I figured out how they work. So the autocrafter acts as the machine input. So you have to aim it so that it's inputting into the machine. And then you can use importers to draw out the exports. So for example, the alloy smelter. I have a bunch of different alloy recipes in here. And then if you go in here, the I/O, it's pushing in the top, coming out the bottom. So that's how this works. We've got a enriching factory, a crushing factory, a smelting factory, and I'll just quickly run through all of the patterns. That's what they're called. We got all the enriched minerals and stuff. In the crushing factory, we have a sand, gravel, and several dusts. In the smelter, we have the processing patterns, silicon, glass, and charcoal. Over here in the alloy smelter, we have a bunch of different alloys. The sag mill only makes powdered coal right now, but I'm sure I'll add more to that later. And over here and over here, the compressing factory and the infusing factory. And the reason these are more complicated is because they have an extra slot. So the infusing is the extra slot is the stuff you infuse, and you can't put both into one place. So the autocrafter, the way it works is it outputs a thing, and the task will not complete until it gets that thing back. So in here, it'll put it out here, and then these pipes are set up to make sure certain items go one way, certain items go the other way, and then they both wind up in the infusing factory and the output is pulled out. Hopefully that makes sense. Similar thing on the other side. We have osmium going in one side, everything else going in the other side, and then coming out the front. Now, looking at this one, I can infuse refined obsidian and glowstone. That's really the only things you could make in the osmium compressor. But over here in the metallurgic infuser factory, there's a lot of patterns. There were atomic alloy, reinforced alloy, infused alloy, refined obsidian dust, basic control circuit. I'm sure more will go in there eventually, but then up here is one not pointing into anything, and that is all our crafting recipes. I've put them in a separate one. I've got thermogenerator pattern, a bunch of stuff for that. I've got upgrades for speed for various types of machines, construction cores, deconstruction cores, a bunch of craftable raw processors, all our storage parts, and our crafting circuits. For a demonstration, say if we go in here and we go to mechanism, we want to make, let's say, what do we want to make? We want to make a purification chamber. Missing items auto-craftable, you can click it in here, and then there's multiple ones. I'm going to explain something here about order of operations, because the way the autocrafter works, as I mentioned, is it sends out the resources, and when it comes back, it finishes the task as soon as it comes back. So if I started this at the same time as this, the alloys from this completing and going back into the system would also trigger this, and then it wouldn't make enough to make the thing. So I'm not going to make that right now, because we have a lot more to get to. This is a bank. I stole this idea from Grok, using this as bulk storage. This is our tree farm and our stone farm, which I will get to in a minute. That comes through this ender chest, diamond for privacy, for player locking, and then red, blue, green. This over here is a condensed form of the crushing machine that I had built before. So we have the exporter. Say you put netherrack in there. It's exporting netherrack. Actually, I'm going to stop that because it's been running for a while. Say you put netherrack in there. I have a filter here that whitelists items that need to go to the hammer, which will then go into this chest and down into the sieve. This blacklists items that need to go into the hammer, so the stuff that goes in the hammer will go there. The stuff that doesn't need the hammer will go straight to the sieve. This chest holds our sieves. That's a slice and splice, which I need very sparingly and just kind of tagged on there. But in here, there's a bunch of stuff that you can get from the sieve in stacks of less than 9, because I have a bunch of compressor upgrades. But when anything that doesn't need to be compressed or does get compressed goes in here. So this is all stuff from the sieve. This is another bank, netherite. So I have a bunch of space. It can hold 1 billion items a slot, so we're not going to have to worry about that. And that's connected to an external storage. This one's connected to an external storage. And this is the mob farm input. So we have our XP. From our XP tank, we can drain into the XP tank, and it will go up to the jumbo tank. We have a toggleable connection to an XP solidifier, so this tank doesn't get full, which goes down into this chest, which mob things that aren't loot boxes go in here. Loot boxes go in here, and then down into the chest, and then XP jelly babies go into the chest. The only thing I don't have a space for is all the books, working on that. But all of the outputs from that go into here. And this is the loot boxes, the mob farm, and a bunch of fish from the marine fisher I did get complete. This is just a note for later. I need 5,500 inferium in order to make the master infusion crystal. That's a ways down the line. Anything else in this box? Ah, yes. You saw the Empowerer out there for actual additions. This is the Atomic Reconstructor system with an auto-crafter, and this is actually pretty cool. So, actually additions. Precision Dropper will only drop 1 item at a time, and this will just put stuff into whatever until it gets what it needs back. So, Diamond Auto-Crafter, for example. Let's craft a Enori crystal, shall we? We'll craft 10 of these. They're made of iron. So here's, you can just watch it work, right? Iron. It's weird that it's not toggling. This was working before. Oh, the iron is not rendering properly, I think. This was working before. Oh, it is working. Okay. Is it? So the way this is supposed to work and was successfully working before... Oh, like this. Laser? Do I have my magnet on or something? No. So, it goes there. It activates this gold pressure plate, which turns on the atomic reconstructor. And then there's this Ender IO vacuum chest, which is vacuum filtering for the finished crystals. So the way this is supposed to work, it pushes them out. They don't get picked up at the chest. The fact that they exist on the pressure plate activates the atomic reconstructor, turns them into their form, which goes into the chest and is exported back into the system, thus completing the auto-crafting task. I don't know why this isn't working now. Like this, it should. This isn't working like it was when I built this. For some reason, the weighted pressure plate is getting stuck. And that's not good. So, precision dropper like that. Precision thing. And one item should lock that. Another one. There we go. I just had to replace the pressure plate, because that'll turn it on. Why is that getting stuck? That's not normal. I'll have to look into that. But for now, let's just break it. Alright. And then this is a good way actually to show off the auto-crafting monitor, because I can fly up here, auto-crafting monitor. We'll cancel this task. So I wanted to point this out, A, because it means I can auto-craft crystals when it's working properly, and B, this is the thing I love the most about modded Minecraft, is creating novel machines like this. And Create, while it's cool mod, doesn't really fit that design, because with Create, pretty much anything you need to do in survival, it's really just a matter of layout. You're going to do things mostly the same. It's like if you need to cut wood, you're going to use a saw. If you need to mine stuff, you're going to use a drill. And I've tried in Creative to create contraptions that do unique things, but if you're doing it in Creative, it's just 'cause, not because you need it for a purpose. For something to progress in your world, you're just building to build, and that's never really worked for me. So if you know a pack where it focuses on designing unique and novel contraptions like this, not just different ways of laying out existing stuff, like I tried a Create Stellar pack once, and where you have to just create 50 contraptions, and it seemed to just be... These contraptions aren't hard to design, it's just a matter of laying them out, and that didn't last very long. So if you know any packs like that, let me know. But I think with that, we're done with this box. So let's head out, and then I have two more. Resources is the next one we're going to do. We're going to look in here. This is the resources. I have the bonsai pots set up there, and I have all of the stone generators set up there. Now, the bonsai pots don't have axes in them because I have enough wood right now, but those go straight into the red, blue, green box. This stuff generates a lot faster and all the time, so I put a gate on it. So I have this, and if I want to, I can turn this on and it'll draw it out, and then it'll generate all of this stuff. But when I don't want to be consistently generating that, I turn it off, this box fills up, and not a problem. This is pretty simple. This is the resources box. The third one, I had intended to put my mob farm in one of these, but the mob farm, I realized halfway through trying to build it that the hyperbox doesn't spawn mobs, so it was going to be useless. So let's head in here and I can show you what I did. I've got this system for the hostile neural networks, for which I have Ghast and Mimic models. We'll get to that in a minute. But I also built this Wither farm, but it's a little different. It's 5 blocks wide inside and not 2, and there's holes in the sides. And I wanted to try something out on camera with that, if there was an easier way than breaking in every time. So we're gonna put on our shrinking necklace, and then we're gonna hop inside. I am gonna turn off that just for now, and then we're gonna go 1, 2. We're gonna place 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Right? Did I do it right? Place it there, and then I can hop out. Come on, hop out the front. And then wait for that to blow up. Interesting. Okay, and now, do I need to take the shrinking off necklace to hit it? I might need to take the shrink necklace off to hit it. Good. I need a nether star for something, so we'll just rock this guy away. Easy, easy. Much easier to get in and out of with the shrinking necklace. Cool. And we'll pop that on for a second, get the nether star. Nice, nice. And now I want to show you my artifacts that I got. Because the Mimic model, let me grab the... Did I have any extra Mimic predictions? So if I place those into the loot fabricator, it will I can't stop it, but you can make artifacts with these. So let's make one where it'll let us walk on fluids, and then let's do a Scarf of Invisibility. And those will go, or anything else we produce in the loot fabricator, will go into the mob chest. And the simulation chamber will put, I believe I've set it up for the predictions are blacklisted. So the predictions will go here, and the mob prediction, or the general predictions, will go straight into the system. And the mob predictions will go into the loot fabricator for if we actually want to make something specific. So that's the mob one. Now, you'll hear me say that the mob farm I got all halfway through building, it's gone. I put it away. I took the opportunity because I had already pulled it down. I took it to the squid farm, where I don't have to really control it. I can just not be here. Also, glass. Did not put that back like I should have. That's the squid farm there, operating. This is the new mob farm. It's the same mob farm, but now there's 3 at the end, so I don't have to spike the slimes. And the vacuum, XP goes through fluids, into there. Items go into there, into the mob, the blue, that I showed you earlier. This is the squid farm vacuum, also goes into the mob, into the XP tank, very efficient. This is the marine fisher, which produces anything from the fishing table when it's powered, which is mostly fish. And that's kind of what the state of our mob farming is like right now. So back we go. The fun thing about these boxes is that the hyperbox chunks will stay loaded as long as the hyperbox is placed down in a loaded chunk. So if I want to unload my resources, stop making trees, stop making stone, all I have to do is this. If I want to not load my mob loot generator, I do this. And there's no easier way to demonstrate that than this. So, see our crafting grid working? If we remove the mobile unit that has our storage in it, gone, not working, no power. If we fly up, you can see that drop eventually. Let's see if we can see it. Yep, seeing it actually dropping. But if we put this back, Our power comes back, and our storage comes back. It's a very easy way to control what you have loaded. So let me take you on a tour of the base here. We have the freezer. I've removed all the stone generators. I've removed the mob farm. I have removed the generator machine and replaced it with a gas-making room, because you place a squid in that witch water and it makes gas. This is still here. The cow is still here. And the enchanting room is still here. But everything else is in those hyper boxes. Oh, this. Villager. Get to that in a second. And before I get to the big finale of the episode, I'm not sure how long it's going to take. It might be half the episode. But I wanted to give you an update on the quest. So we're done this. You knew about that. Tech Basics. I was pretty much all done with this already. I just had to make the capacitor banks and the conduits, which I did. We're done there. Resources. Haven't done bees. Haven't done mystical agriculture. Done with the mob farm. Storage. We did this last episode or an episode before with the storage part. Power. It's really just a matter. I have all the stuff to make it. I just have to sit down and do it. So, not too much of a problem there. Advanced tech. I've done all the mechanism stuff. The industrial engineering, or immersive engineering, hostile mobs, actually additions. This is easy. I just have to do it. Industrial foregoing. Kinda just have to do it. I can do all of that easily. Haven't done any magic. We'll get to that in several episodes. Exploration. We have to do the end, which we're going to do next episode. We have to do the Warden Dimension. We have to do the Bumble Zone. And then we're done with that. Miscellaneous. Make more ingots. Get Warden Armor. Make, this is mostly the Inferium, the special Mystical Agriculture apples that are holding us back. Mystical Agriculture Awakened Gear. Bunch of ingots other than that. And then end game will be the ultimate crafting after all of this is done. So we are actually making really good progress on this series. But without further ado, observe the latex machine. This is not the finale, but it was important. So, you've seen this somewhere before. Fluid extractor. Fluid goes into latex processing unit. Processing unit, I can switch it to dissolution chamber if I need to. They're powered. Water into the latex processor. We have a block placer that will place this stuff. And the big ticket item here is the speed and processing add-on. So it makes more stuff, or does it faster? Does it faster? This makes more stuff, does it faster? Places down faster. This one crafts faster. Those are important because before those, these were not moving very quickly at all. I spent a lot of time in a bottle on these, but they actually move along at pretty good clip. I think I have like 6 stacks of dry rubber, which is more than I'm going to need for a while. So there's where I got some plastic. Gas tiers you've already seen up there. Those combine to make mob imprisonment tools, which I made a bunch of. We have a villager here, who I got specifically for the name tag trade. And I'm sure you can guess what this is building up to, because da-da-da-da! Dragons. I have bred up almost two of almost every type of dragon. So let's head out to a bigger opening. Let's head over to here where I can show you all my dragons. And this might take a minute. I have mob imprisonment tools for all of them, saddles, and name tags, and I've named them all. And I have to be very careful because you can see it's just DMR:dragon in the mob imprisonment. You don't see the name, you don't see the type. So if I get these mixed up, it's going to be a nightmare to sort out. But let me introduce you to these dragons type by type. So this is the Ether Dragons. Akasha. Sit. Akasha. Sit. And Akasha. And this is Anastasia. And the way I got these names, I'm going to explain them all. Anastasia came from anesthesia, which is they used to use a chemical called ether as anesthesia, so that's where that came from, because these are ether dragons. And then the ether is also a old-timey concept of like the interstitial space of the universe, and from there I got to the Akashic field, and there we have Akasha. So all of these dragons have unique abilities. This one, it flies faster. So let me continue onward. Those are the ether dragons. They fly fast. Put them away. We have next the fire dragons, Mai and Zuko. That's a Avatar The Last Airbender reference. These dragons are, any hostiles near them are set on fire, and they are immune, and I am immune to fire damage while I'm near them. Nothing too special there. Next up, we have our nether dragons. We have Arcadius and Catherine. This is a Vampire Diaries reference. These are the two people who ruled the Hell dimension at some point in the Vampire Diaries. Catherine and Arcadius. This dragon, immune to fire, and will not be targeted by hostiles in the nether. So, that's cool. Next up, we have the forest dragons, which, interesting note about the breeding of these dragons. In the void, you can place down blocks in the void dimension, or biome or whatever. You can place down blocks to change the type of dragon. In the forest biome here, that overrides any placement. So if you're gonna place down dragon eggs and try and get different types, do it in the void, because it's not gonna work in the forest. It's always gonna be this kind. So we have Steven and Weber. And how I got this, it's the weirdest thought process. So, Weber and Steven, I started with Forest, and from there I went to Midsummer Night's Dream, to Shakespeare, to generalized plays, to musicals, and these are named after Andrew Lloyd Webber and Stephen Sondheim. That's how we got there. The ability of the Forest Dragon, hostiles detect the dragon and its nearby owner at a lower level, lower range, and when you're near plants, it grants itself and the owner regeneration. So, yeah, those are the weirdest names, probably. A bit of a winding path down there. Come on. The Ghost Dragons, Jay and Sam, are named after the main characters of the TV show Ghosts, which I enjoy. The Ghost Dragons will not be targeted by undead. Cool. Not sure how useful that is in a void world. Next up, we have our Ice Dragons, which are named Tessa and Scott, a famous team of Canadian figure skaters that retired a few years back, I think. But the Ice Dragon, nearby hostiles are given slowness, and they freeze water when they're walking. So let's grab you, Scott and Tessa, and put them back in here. We have the Water Dragons. We have the Water Dragons Mira and Arthur, after Aquaman and his wife. They can swim, give dolphins grace to us and the owner, and night vision while riding the dragon in water. So I think they can probably breathe underwater. I haven't tested it yet. We'll test that at some point. Maybe when we get our lake build at our resort. We have Amethyst Dragons Vayne and Geode, which are named after supervillains that I created in my own superhero universe, designed using the Marvel Multiverse RPG system, which I have several source books for. It's fun. Vayne, the dragon, and his owner has a chance to block incoming damage and deflect incoming projectiles. That actually could be useful for what we need it for. And if we look at the End Dragon, we have Eternity and Infinity, both concepts that apply to the End and also Marvel characters. We have Infinity, whose we won't be hurt by fall damage near the dragon, and we won't anger Enderman. That could be useful. And I think that was the end of the list. So the ones I haven't made, Skulk Dragons and Lush Dragons, because I can't figure out how to make those appear. I think there's probably a specific biome I could go to, but I don't know where to find it. We have 2 Dragon Whistles, which can be bound and unbound by sneak right-clicking on tamed dragons, and we have the materials for the dragons we have not made yet, and the cod for taming them. So the question now, for both me and you in the comments, what 2 types of dragons do we breed together to make our mount for the dragon fight? Because you can breed the types of dragons together, and it can have up to 2 dragons traits. So I'm thinking probably Amethyst because of the damage blocking, but the other type, I don't know. I have to look a little closer, see what's going to be useful. But next episode, we are going to ride a bred dragon of 2 of these types. We're going to breed a dragon, and we're going to ride it into the end with netherite dragon armor, and we're going to fight the ender dragon from the back of a hybrid dragon type. And I think that's going to be exciting. But this episode is already pretty long, longer than my usual stuff, so I'm going to call it here. I hope you enjoyed looking at all the cool systems that I've built and meeting my new dragon friends. It took a while to get them, so I hope you like them. Let me know in the comments what 2 dragons you think I should breed together for our combat dragon, and in the process what we should name it. Let me know what you think of the using hyperboxes as tick storage or tick control. And also, as a bonus, if I'm like working in the Void Dimension, I can just pick this up, go to the Void Dimension, put it down, and I don't have to come all the way back here to access something specific having to do with my storage system. It's very convenient to be able to move. And also, I don't know what we're going to do with the rest of the base now, but I'm sure we'll figure something out. But until next episode where we fight the dragon, thanks for watching. Later.